Buenos dias a todos. My name is Tony Wang, and I'm here in the London office of Twitter UK. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of your event hosted by the AEA. Unfortunately, we have an event here on the same day that prevents me from being there, but I really look forward to launching our Twitter for Marketers event later this year, and I hope to invite all of you there as well. I want to take this opportunity to answer some of your questions, so here's the first one. We're seeing a lot of very interesting use cases with our users in Spain. In fact, anytime our users in Spain are involved in something, we see massive volumes and massive peaks. An example of this is our tweets per second record set for sporting events. That was set last year twice by our users in Spain. First, during the Champions League semifinals between Chelsea and Barcelona, where Chelsea beat Barcelona. Some of you may be happy about that, some of you may be sad. But at that moment, we saw tweets per second that beat the previous record set by the US Super Bowl. Similarly, in the Euro 2012 final, when Spain beat Italy, at the very moment that Juan Mata hit that fourth and final goal, we saw tweets per second, over 15,000 tweets per second at that moment. That set the new record for sporting events. So people in Spain are using Twitter to pursue their passions, whether it's sports, whether it's food, whether it's news or information or fashion. We're seeing Twitter become an interest network for people. And not only is it with sports or live events in the real world, but also events on TV. Very much like how people are using devices as a second screen, Twitter becomes a primary device for second screen usage. We see this with The Voice, with Big Brother, with Gandia Shore. We have a very interesting way of seeing how users are connecting with their programs through Twitter at the moment. So this gives us a good sense that it goes beyond just being social. It's not just a social network, but becoming an interest network where you explore your passions, explore your interests. And we're seeing a lot of that in Spain, so we're very excited to get started there. The Spanish market is very critical for us. We're seeing incredible usage, as I just mentioned. In fact, some of the most followed sport clubs on Twitter are in Spain. So Real Madrid has 7 million followers, Barcelona has over 8 million followers. And so what we want to do is make sure that we put a team on the ground to support our partners, clients, and agencies. It's important to remember that before we made tools for marketers available, brands have already been on Twitter since day one, using it organically to engage with users, talk about products, and give news to users. We basically wanted to allow marketers to amplify what they're doing by reaching audiences in a more highly targeted way or reaching a wider audience through our promoted trends. Basically, the three advertising tools are the promoted trends, promoted accounts, and promoted tweets. And I'll walk through each one of these. The promoted trend sits on top of our trending topics module. Now, trending topics is a very popular destination for our users because they go there to see what the latest discussion, latest news is about at that very moment. And because it's dynamic, that list changes moment by moment. But the brand has the opportunity to put their trend at the very top of the list for a 24-hour period. And that's a great opportunity for them to get news out very quickly to a wide audience. The promoted accounts sits in the Who to Follow module. So the Who to Follow module basically suggests organic accounts to follow based upon the interests that you have already shown by the accounts that you're already following. Now, a brand can be part of that suggestion and be at the top of that list, and you only pay when someone follows you. The promoted tweet allows a brand to be able to have their tweet that's otherwise looks and acts as an organic tweet be placed at the top or near the top of someone's timeline, whether that user follows that brand or doesn't follow but is very similar to someone that does follow that brand. It's a great way to make sure that that tweet gets seen the first time someone logs in. In terms of the metrics that we're seeing, it's very, very exciting and it's very positive. As we're rolling this out, we're very much testing how users are engaging with your content on Twitter. And it's great news here. If you look at average display metrics, so average digital display engagement rates, it's anywhere between 0.05 to 0.07% click-through rate. On Twitter, with our promoted tweets alone, we're seeing between a 1 to 3% engagement rate. And oftentimes when you pair that with a promoted trend, that engagement rate more than doubles. In addition to the engagement rates, Nielsen has done an early beta study into the impact on brand advertising. And the results have been very positive. So if you're a brand advertiser, you'll be very familiar with three important metrics. One is message association, the second is brand favorability, and the third is purchase intent. Now, Nielsen took a look at those users that were exposed to promoted tweets, not necessarily even clicked on them. And those exposed to promoted tweets translated into a 22% increase in message association. Now, if they actually clicked on a promoted tweet, it actually translated into a 30% increase in brand favorability and a 53% increase in purchase intent. So very, very strong metrics showing that users are connecting with really compelling content that marketers are bringing on Twitter. I would say, why would you not include one of the most powerful word-of-mouth platforms that exists in the world today? I think it's a great way to tie in various different media channels. So whether it's online to online or offline, we see Twitter as a great tie-in for the rest of the media plan. And it's important to note that people are actually talking about your brand already. So why not be part of that conversation and tying in what you see, outdoor, on billboards, on TV, and on mobile as well. We have a very, very active mobile user base, as you can tell from the second screen activity as well as the live events activity that we're seeing. 60% of our active users around the world are actually active on mobile as well. So it's been a very, very powerful way to reach users wherever they are. So that's the first thing I would say. And then the second thing I would say is, there's very strong qualitative examples that we have now. We're starting to build those case studies with Spanish marketers. We'd love to do more, but the early case studies that we've seen are very positive. Mango, for example, last year launched their spring-summer collection, a campaign they had with Kate Moss on TV, and they launched it simultaneously with a Twitter campaign at the same time. And I think they're going to do the same again, given their success. VW was another example where they used Twitter in a very innovative way. They used Twitter to be able to launch their Polo model, and the way they used Twitter was very interesting. They had Twitter users tweet to power a car across the finish line, and then whoever sent that last tweet to get that car over the finish line actually won a model Polo. So actually that was a very great campaign because we saw over 150,000 tweets in the first few hours. They increased their followers by 50%, and very interestingly, their mobile engagement rate was 44%. Now compared to what we said earlier about engagement rates in digital, that's under 1%. 44% mobile engagement rate is tremendous. Media Market is another good example in the retailer space. In the commerce and retailer space. They used Twitter to be able to launch a VAT-free sale, and they saw record footfall in their stores. And finally, another good example is Amena, which was acquired by Orange. Amena used Twitter to be able to launch one of their lowest tariff rate plans in the Spanish market. And after they were acquired by Orange, a lot of people were wondering if they were going to still be active, and they used promoted tweets not only to launch their tariff, but actually tell the market that they're very, very active and they will continue to be able to offer products to Spanish users. So we're starting to see very interesting campaigns, a lot of innovation. We'd love to work with you, and we can't wait to get started. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much again for allowing me to have a few minutes at your conference. Again, I apologize for not being there in person, but very, very much look forward to having a team on the ground and working with all of you and doing very, very exciting, innovative things. I can be followed on Twitter @TonyW, and until then, we'll see you on Twitter.
Bueno, ya hemos visto que Twitter está en España, que ha desembarcado y que está preparado para llevar estrategias de marketing con anunciantes y con agencias. Pero bueno, además os quiero contar una anécdota de algo que además no mucha gente sabe, pero que me parece muy curiosa. Cuando Twitter tiene que contratar a una persona, aparte, por supuesto, de esperar de que tenga pues experiencia en el sector publicitario, en el sector de la tecnología, lo que le exige es que tenga sentido del humor. Sentido del humor porque lo que ellos llaman trabajar en Twitter es un viaje salvaje, lo que me indica que la inteligencia emocional es uno de los puntos claves para contratar personas en Twitter, que va mucho con lo que Pepe nos contaba del tema de neuromarketing. Pero además de todos estos atributos, el siguiente ponente tiene mucho. Invito a Fernando Monzón a que se venga conmigo. Fernando Monzón es el director de Marketing Digital Internacional de Telepizza y quiero presentar su faceta humana aparte de la profesional. Me parece siempre un personaje muy especial. Una persona, un ingeniero, que abría plantas por todo el mundo de la empresa Michelin y un buen día decide que quiere ser emprendedor, se mete en el mundo digital y crea una empresa cuyo corazón se basa en lo que él llama radical marketing o marketing de guerrilla. Y bueno, aparte de eso, es el director de marketing, como os he comentado, digital de Telepizza y combina, de alguna manera, el ojo que tiene puesto en su empresita y también su cabeza en la estrategia de Telepizza. Fernando, tu turno.
Hola.